Welcome to the channel, guys. I know it's been a little while since I had a new video, but this video is really special to me, and I hope you guys really enjoy it. I'm going to be talking about my 70 Nova here. A lot of you guys have seen this in the background of live streams or on my Instagram, and always commented on it. It actually has a really good story to go along with it. So today I'm going to kind of tell you the story of how this Nova got to the condition it's in and how it found its way to my garage. So let's say we go for a cruise. All right. So today is definitely not the best day for a drive. It's very humid, very wet out, no sunshine. I don't know if I would normally drive this car today, but I want to make this video for you guys. And what's the point of showing a car if you don't drive the car? So that's exactly what we're going to do. I hope you guys can hear me. Now this video isn't going to be quite a video. I mean it is, but there's going to be a nice slideshow. A lot of the pictures that I take during the whole restoration of this car that me and my dad had done. There's some video clips in there as well, like the first fire, the first drive, things like that. But most of it is going to be video clips, or I'm sorry, most of it is going to be like a slideshow of pictures that I was taking. And the whole process was very quick. My dad did a ton of work on this car. I was there with just about every step of the way. I would say like every step of the way I was there, all the major steps. It was a really, really fun restoration that me and my old man had together. And you know, that's why this car just means so much to me. No amount of money would ever take this car from me, ever. So it's really special to me, and I hope you guys stick around. I hope you guys enjoy the show, the whole slideshow of the whole restoration process, as I kind of go over what we did, what kind of challenges there were. Not a lot, honestly. Super easy car. And then at the end, we'll do a full walk around of the car at home in my garage, just so you guys can see where it's at today. So let's do it. So these pictures here are taken the day that we actually purchased the car. This is in a barn of family friends, and they have been storing this car for one of their friends since like the early 2000s. It's been in this barn for over 15 years, just sitting there collecting dust, not running. You can see the nest under the engine, or in the engine bay. I mean, there was nests built up inside the seats, just really nasty stuff. But it had just been sitting there, and finally, I believe it was my mom, of all people, she reached out to the owner. It was not running, all tires were flat. We didn't know what we were really getting into. And this is the first day we had the Nova at my parents' house, just trying to get to run. This is me and my dad putting new plugs and wires in. So the first day was unsuccessful. Next day, we just pushed into the garage, figured we'd start working from there. So this is it, just sitting in my dad's garage. Shout out to his 65 C10 back there. That was his daily driver when we started this project. With it in the garage, we had one goal in mind, and that was getting this thing fired up. Of course, the first thing we had to do was confirm we had spark. So not only did we do new plugs, new wires, we did a new ignition coil, a distributor cap, and all the way down to the point system, and we could confirm we had spark. Not only did we have to get spark, but we realized it wasn't getting any fuel. Upon further inspection, the gas tank was rusted out, there was lines rusted out. We didn't know if the fuel pump was working or not, so we just did the entire fuel system. New gas tank, new fuel lines, new fuel pump, and that thing fired up. So this is actually a video clip of the first time it fired. I wasn't here for this step, but luckily my dad had my mom there with them. They got this bad boy buffed, polished, and waxed, and they got the paint looking just awesome. It was running and it was looking good, and now it was time to actually pull it out and just kind of see how it's going, making sure it goes into gear, checking the brakes. So this next video clip is the first time pulling it out of my dad's garage, and you'll see that it went into gear, which was awesome. The brakes, not so much. So watch at the end here. It's pretty funny. No brakes?
No brakes.
Every time I watch that, it just makes me laugh. So yeah, I wasn't there when they did the full brake job. I mean, he did a new brake booster, brake lines, shoes all around, stuff like that. But these are just some odds and ends. You can see the trunk, what it looked like before and after, with some new sheet metal, cleaned up the wheels. And then the next big project was in this interior, because it looked awful. This is when we really started cracking down on the interior. My dad had to do new floor pans in the driver's and passenger side in the front. You can see that I had to patch that in. Did new carpet, new bucket seats. Now, luckily, the existing dashboard, headliner, back seat, door panels, kick panels, all that stuff, they were just dirty. My mom spent just a day solid scrubbing all of this vinyl to get it to shine up. But I mean, looking at it, it looks so good. It looks brand new. It's awesome how well that cleaned up. Now that she's running good, looking good, comfortable to sit in, it was time for the first drive. So we just took it uptown, take it to the gas station, and man, the looks you were getting, it was awesome. But here's just a short clip I took of the first drive. Here's a few pictures of the exhaust system that my dad had put in. New headers all the way back. It sounds great. Here's a clip. Looking back at the dates, it's crazy that all that was done in 1 month. But, you know, he was retired at the time. I was there every day off I had, every weekend, and we just cranked it out. So with the driving good, sounding good, looking good, I mean, looking decent for what it is, it was his new daily driver. The C10, it took a back seat, and he drove this all summer. As it cooled down, that's when the bodywork got started. And now my dad, he professionally did bodywork, painted cars. So, you know, we've painted multiple cars in the past. But this one, he cranked it out quick again. He was retired, so I mean, he was out there every day. But you can see here, that's all metal work. There is minimal body filler or Bondo in there. You'll see when it's primered, the little orange spots. That's all the Bondo he used. Everything else was welded in, sanded and sanded, primered and sand. I mean, you guys all know the process. He did most of this himself. There's a couple of his selfies in here. I did the rear quarter panels with him. And really, I think that's as far as the bodywork did for me. He did have to get a new hood just because the front of the hood, the structural integrity was just gone and it couldn't hold that trim on anymore. At this point, the bodywork is basically done. There's some PDR done up top, and then the bottom, all the new metalwork, had in primer. So we went and we started spraying down the jams, the trunk, the hood, and I got to paint all that stuff. He trusted me with that. But as far as the body goes, that was all him, of course. There's quite a few pictures of this process just because this is what's really exciting. I mean, when you're about to see a as finished product as, you know, the biggest change there is. But yeah, you can see that the trunk lid there, we painted it in Corvette white. Then the hood, we painted that just flat back black underneath. Just the thought there is if we painted it white, anything that comes up from the engine is just gonna make it look gross. So just go with black. But the jams are looking good, and the white looks really nice. So that all the jams are taken care of, now it's time to focus on the body. And here you can see that it's full primer, ready to go. And that's when it was time to spray. Now the funny part here is we have a friend that lives like a mile down the road that has a huge barn with a professional paint booth in the barn, but my dad just couldn't wait, and so it got sprayed right there in his garage. This is a very exciting day. I mean, after he told me that he had sprayed the night or a couple of nights before, I was there first thing in the morning. We got it rolled back into the back garage. Brand new Kragers put on it. It was the first time that we got to see it out in the sun, so we rolled it right out, and man, it just looked fantastic. Unless you get right up on the paint and inspect it, you would never guess that that was done in a garage. My dad just knocked it out of the park. Of course, he couldn't wait for me at all, and I don't blame him. So that next weekend, October 20th, I went out there, and she was painted. He just laid down the black cherry racing stripes. He had brand new bumpers, brand new chrome window trim, brand new mirrors, things like that, and those Kragers. And this is it. It's a beautiful car. So of course, as you do, we take it out to a buddy's house, and you know, we did some glamour shots. We had my daughter out there. There she is on the hood. Of course, her papa wanted her out there. So there's my dad and my daughter just having a good time. Of course, I'm behind the camera, and this was such a fun day. Here's me and my daughter just posing outside. Look at that. He was giving her the keys right away. So here she is, as she sits today here in my garage. We just pulled it back in from that little drive that I took in the intro. But yeah, you guys can kind of see the finished product. Beautiful car, you know what I mean? You guys have just seen the whole process over the past year of building this thing. Check out how the hood or the engine bay looks now. I cleaned it up quite a bit, you know, just straightening up wires, organizing the wires. And this project will be on the video soon. I'm actually going to refinish the valve covers. You can see I painted this bracket here. That's just to test that paint, just some of that height and engine enamel. And then I got some Pour 15 Chevrolet red I'm going to paint the block with while it's still in the car, so hopefully that goes good. Stay tuned in the channel. That project will be coming up very soon. So we'll take a look around. Check out how the interior looks. You know, still looks super nice. Everything works, all the lights, all the turn signals, wipers, heat. I know we didn't have a picture after the horn was painted. This car does have the name Nova Ray, named after my daughter. That Hurst T-handle. It's a Muncie Crusher 4-speed. Yeah, headliner looks good. Has the shoulder straps. I don't know if you can see the shoulder straps up there. The only thing we replaced in this interior is the carpet and the front buckets. Everything else was original. Oh, and the stereo I hooked up, of course. Everything else, like I said, was original, just very much cleaned up. And then we did have to recover this back deck lid in some vinyl. There's the Rockford 6x9s I installed. And I did some Rockford, I think like 3 inches underneath there. And I know I didn't have any real pictures of the trunk after it was finished. Let's see. This was another thing that my dad did all on his own. Just got that carpeted. And then He used the Harbor Freight anti-fatigue mats to kind of build the liner with the diamond plate pattern. I really like how it looks. When we had bought the car, we had gotten a set of rallies because we knew the tires were all flat. So this thing actually has 3 sets of wheels for it. The new Kragers, these rallies that he repainted, keep one back here as a spare, and then those Krager knockoffs that we had refinished and painted. So there you go. That is how she sits today. Still nice and clean. Fires up every time. I love driving it. It's still manual steering, no power steering, no brake booster, nothing like that. It's just you and the machine. So I'm going to get this thing plugged back up on the trickle charger, and got one little small outro for you, and stick around. Now, I wanted to make this video for a long time now. It's just, kind of been hard. My dad, he actually passed away January 10th of this year, and it's tough, especially putting this out there to the world like this, but it was his last year of life. We had such a good time building this car together. He left it to me, well, he left it to my daughter, through me, I guess. But yeah, that's why it's a piece of him I'll have forever. I drive it, and I just think of him, and what a good time we had. Not only building this car, but always. I mean, he's painted with me like 4 of my cars. We'd go to the Make 'em Auto shows. We would just go to any car show we can. Just so many great memories of my dad, and I just feel like he's with me every time I step into this car. So, not to be a downer and bring that up, but he was something else. I miss him, of course, but he's with me. He's with me all the time. Every time I look out into my garage or I drive that car, I just feel my dad right there with him. And I'm sure you guys know what I mean. He's always riding shotgun. So hey, I appreciate you guys checking out this video. Didn't want to end it on a sad note. It's all good. So until next time, I will see you guys later.